showing y'all the slides. I'll just show you how to do it. First thing we're going to show you is how we tin wires. So what I've done is I've stripped, this is stranded wire. You can see the strands, right? And this is what we're going to be dealing with. Oh, and this is called a third hand. And they're really, really neat. We got some of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. First of all, you want to make sure your hands are clean. You don't have oil on them, right? You understand? Then what we're going to do is we're going to just take the wire and wrap it clockwise and to get it into a nice, smooth spiral. Then I'm going to just clamp it right in here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my iron up, and what's the first thing I did? Cleaned it off. We'll use these, the wires we're going to use are inside these little things, so it makes it so you don't have to handle the solder as much. Pick it up, clean it, tin it, right, you understand. And then I'm going to come up and I'm going to place the soldering iron under here, and I'm just going to do that. Y'all see that? Huh? Under it, yeah. That's the best way to do it. What do I do with my cutter too? So here you go, y'all do it. And what I want you to do is look at this. This is, and you can still actually see the wire, the strands of the wire. If you bubble that up, then you're just putting too much solder. If you can't see the wetting, by the way, when you strip your wire, these are great strippers. I don't want to see anybody coming over here doing this. Right? You understand? Or using the wrong size. What I just did is I cut off several strands, and as soon as you cut off a strand, you change the ampacity of the wire, right? You understand that? So what you got to do is you got to know the gauge of the wire you're running. So this is about 22 gauge. And if you use the right size, it's not going to be easy to strip. Y'all see that? That strips off real easy. Yeah. So I come up here. In fact, I used the wrong gauge. This must be a 20 gauge wire. How do I know it's the wrong gauge? Because it cut some strands. Do what? These go down to 26 gauge. Now sometimes you can cheat. So sometimes what you can do is you can angle your iron, which is good because you'll dip it, and you can actually strip a smaller gauge wire than what your wire strippers are designed for. This is a 20 gauge wire. So notice I have to hold it and then I have to pull it. Now what that means is my stripping blades never actually touch the wires, right? You understand? What it did was scribe the insulation. And if you do strip with a knife, I don't have my knife in here, but you want to strip at an angle. You don't want to strip straight down. You want to strip at an angle. And that way, if you do hit a wire, your blade will bounce off of it, but it'll put a little nipple in it instead of actually scribing the wire, right? You understand? So how did I do that? First thing I did is what? Cleaned the iron. Second thing I did was what? Tin it. Third thing I did was I bring it over, put it under the wire, touch it, get the solder to flow, and just move it down. And you can always, by the way, if you put too much solder on, you can use your iron as a wick. So what I could do is I could come over and get the solder off of it, and then I can just come and run my iron under there, and then the solder will wick, some of the excess solder will wick onto your iron. But what you want to see is you want to see that wetting, right? You understand that? Anybody else, y'all see these? So what we'll do, we have several things we're going to solder. This is what we call to terminate. So we terminate with these. This is called a turret terminal that you'll run into, and it'll be on the circuit board. Now what we do on this guy is we come on, we're going to strip our wire. Then what are we going to do? I know what I didn't bring me out here, guys. I didn't bring me out here. I'm going to pre-tin my wire. Now what I want to pre-tin my wire for is I don't want my stranded wire to do what we call birdcage. Birdcage means the wires actually separate, right? So I'm going to pre-tin my wire. So most of our things, when we do it in here, we're going to pre-tin them.